Okay. Welcome to the AdMan podcast. I'm Chris. This is Omri, and we are here to talk quite a bit. Probably not that much, actually. We're trying to make it only a half-hour show, and I think other than the first episode, we did pretty good. This is episode 3, by the way. And the thing that I keep thinking about when we're doing this is, why are we doing this? And the answer is, we're trying to give you behind the scenes view of what happens in marketing and advertising. And it's not just about marketing and advertising all the time. There's a lot of other conversations that go on. We hope you enjoy it. And so I pose the question to you, Omri. What happens behind the scenes when it comes to marketing and advertising?
So I think the thing that we really want to ask, or that we really want to pose, is to our viewer. Have you ever seen a brand out there in the world, whether on TV, on the internet, or on the radio, and it just seems like they're completely dominating, and all you can think is of their service or their product? Well, today we're gonna take you behind the scenes of how that kind of stuff really works and what it takes to get your brand to that level. So
Yeah.
I think that that's what we really want to say. Man, when we do what we do behind the scenes, I feel like it's really intricate. And I think if you're somebody out there who really wants to take your brand to the next level, and get it out there, I think the first thing we have to do is establish what a brand is.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different definitions of what a brand is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole lot of things out there talking about uh branding. There's so many. You can find podcasts, you can find no YouTube videos, books about
Oh yeah.
that. It's crazy. The thing with a brand,
Okay.
it's your relationship to your customer,
That's right.
and building that relationship is the branding.
Yes.
But it's a long process and a lot of things that people don't really talk about, because when you're at the point of, you're seeing the ads and you're seeing, you know the videos, the social media posts, listening to
Yeah.
it on the radio, you're getting I like to say, the going out clothes.
Okay.
If you're a guy or girl, it doesn't matter. You're non-binary, whatever. We're not gonna get
Whatever.
the whole smattering of everything.
Whomever you are.
Whomever you are, if you're going out, there is a process that you start with. You're showering, you're making sure your hair's trimmed, making sure your makeup is done right, making sure your nails are done, making
Mm-hmm.
sure you smell good, you're looking good with your clothes, everything matches, everything fits, you're getting yourself ready. And then you get to the club. So
Got
the
you.
marketing and advertising that you see in here is at the club. What you're not seeing is the process that everyone went through to get to that point. You're just getting that end. Oh, look at this. Man, that's some good looking stuff right there.
Right. Right. I just was pulling something up here. I'm gonna pull something up. You're not gonna be able to see it, but I'm gonna read it out so that you could see it. I mean, so you could let's see here. Okay. So I wrote this earlier. I was having some thoughts as on a long drive, and I kind of mangled this together here. When we think about branding, what branding is what someone thinks when they think of you. And I thought about The Simpsons. When you think about Barney on The Simpsons, when you think Barney, you think neighborhood drunk. When you think Bart Simpson, you think neighborhood mischief kid. You see what I'm saying? When you look at Family Guy, and you think Quagmire, you think Freaky Guy. You know what I mean? So to put it simple, branding is that. It's what the people think when they think of you. But now, if you flip it and you think, okay, the really good marketers and the really good businesses who really got it dialed in, they say, when you think of this problem, think of me. So don't think of me, think of the problem. And when you think of that problem, think of me. If you slip and fall, give Robert Birkin a call. I'm not slipping and falling nowhere, but I can't unthink that. You see what I'm saying?
That's
So
true.
yeah, so branding, a lot of times when we're working with people, Chris, we get people so concerned about the dollar. Oh, well, if I make these videos, when am I going to get paid back? If I run these ads, when am I going to see money back? But I challenge you to change your thinking, you out there in the audience. I challenge you to change your thinking and look at it this way. The first investment any customer is ever going to make in your business is they're going to pay attention. And when you think about it in terms of pay attention, I pulled two definitions up. We got pay. So the definition that we're gonna go with is to give or to offer or make freely as fitting. So to pay, to give or to offer. And then we go to attention. We break that up, go to attention. The act or state of applying the mind to something. Now, if you think about your mind, and here's where it blew the lid off for me. I never purchased from you. I seen some content online and it stopped my scroll. I'm going to invest a limited resource because I don't have an infinite amount of attention units to give any one thing at any one time. I got kids, I got a wife, I got a home, I got all this other stuff going on. So if I'm going to invest in you, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stop. You got to get my attention because I'm going to pay those attention units to you, to your brand. So now you as that brand builder, you as that owner, you as a business owner, you have to think in terms of it's almost criminal for me to put out content or put out things that isn't valuable to you as the viewer or a prospect or future consumer, not valuable to you. But I want you to pay or invest attention to me and my brand. I'm not going to give you any value. That's a scam. So when we think about the earliest stages of branding, we think about putting out things on a content or whatever the medium is that offers value, not just we've been in business for this and we're local and where's the value in that? What I'm gonna pay you attention for what? So
Well,
when I think about branding, that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, no, I really like what you were just talking about with, saying, "Oh, we've been in business for this many years. We're a local place." That brings us to another thing when it comes to branding, and this is something that we talk about internally. What's the
Yeah,
unique identifiable difference?
that's
And
right.
that's something that's uh, when we're talking marketing and we're talking behind the scenes, these are the conversations that you don't hear as the
Hmm.
consumer. These are conversations that are being had between myself, you, and our customers and our
Yeah,
clients. Finding that unique identifiable difference means finding the one thing that sets you apart from everyone else. And like you said before, when it came to the thought process of attaching a problem to a brand, or
right.
rather, I don't like to say attach a problem to a brand. I like to say attach a solution to a brand. So when you
Okay, I
have this
like that too.
problem, the solution is this brand.
Right.
If you can make that transition really easy for people, it's going to work great. But the unique identifiable difference is something that can actually take a lot of time to figure out because a lot of times people will say, "Hey, we're the only place in town that does this." But are you really? There's X, Y, and Z company over here. They offer the same service. Is
Yeah.
it really only you? Well, we do it better. Well, what objectively makes it so that you can say we do it better?
Right.
And then we get into the process of, okay, so what you have that they don't have is say you're a tech repair company, and you have two other competitors. What you have over them is that you have engineers that have worked for those companies working on the products. They don't have that. They just have some dude from high school that was like, I like tech, I like taking things apart, I like putting it back together. You have actual experts. That's your unique identifiable difference. And that's the difference that you need to present to people so that when they have a problem and they say, I need a solution to this problem, they're going to see, oh, the solution that they offer is the solution that I want. This is what makes me say this is, and we'll talk about this part of things another time when it comes to the buyer experience and the buyer journey. Everyone's got roadblocks in their brain. You know, there are roadblocks between the front of your brain and your wallet. And the job of marketing is to break down as many as possible before they even get in contact with you.
And how do you do that?
The way that you do that is by promoting your unique identifiable difference and building the brand to be associated with the proper solution. You know, like we were getting at before. So when somebody runs into this feeling of, I have this problem, I need a solution, the brand that breaks down more barriers before they have to make a decision is going to be the brand that wins. So you have the trust barriers, you have the price barriers, you have the knowledge barriers, you have the expertise barriers, you have all these different things, trust barriers. I don't know if I said trust already, but
Yeah.
If you brand correctly, you can break down 4 of those barriers right just from the get-go. And that's the process that we talk about. What are these barriers that people would have that, and this goes into our branding question and how to be better at that. You go through all the barriers that you potentially can think of that somebody would have to stop them from calling you or stop them from buying from you.
Right.
And when you're doing your branding, you make sure you're hitting those barriers. You're chipping away at them with every bit. And once you get through those, it's going to be a lot easier for people to say, well, let me just call them to get through this last barrier. Because usually the last barrier is something where it's pricing or they need to make a call, it's timing, whatever it is. But if you can get them to call by having trust in your brand from all the legwork that you've done previously in the background, that's what marketing really is. That's what advertising really is.
I wanna throw something out there that's super important that I want our third guest, our listener, to really think with, because this is something that I've grappled with a lot. I'm gonna put it in the form of a story. We have a mouse in the house. Actually, I've caught 3, so we probably have some more.
Fun.
Okay, it's scary right now. That's a problem. I have a small child, I have a 13-year-old, and I have my wife, and we have a big home. Not big like mansion big, but like we live in a city and the house is tall. But the point is, if we don't find the mouse problem, that's going to create a huge problem. And then one of us got to move. And it ain't going to be us. It's going to be them. But I say that to say this. There isn't a price I wouldn't pay to get that taken care of.
Right.
Now, I say that to say, when you're building a business or when you're building a brand, you have to really ask yourself. I had to really ask myself, am I selling something that people actually want? And do they want it or do they need it in order to function?
Right.
And this is the part where your ego and your pride and what you believed and what your grandma told you when you was 5, all those things get all mashed up. And you say, well, I really know that people need toe massagers. It's like, yeah, but do they really? You know what I mean? So I say that to say, getting into doing surveys of your audience. Forget what everybody else says about all these tools and all this other kind of stuff. If you have a person-to-person conversation with somebody in your audience, not the everybody, but hey, I serve dads over 40 who have teen boys who struggle connecting with them. Okay, you got my attention. What do you know about me as the buyer? Well, as the business owner, I went and I asked some guys, I said, hey, what are your biggest problems when you face talking to your son or daughter who's a teen? Well, I face this, I face that. You talk to 15, 20 guys and they give you a consensus of an answer. Now you can then, and I'm bringing it back to the branding, you can then say in your messaging for your ad, you can say, we help dads over 40 solve X problem through Y mechanism in 10 days or less. Oh, snap. I need that. So now when you say 10 days or less, now that says to the buyer, I can get it fast. When you show testimonials, that means, okay, well, it's worked for other people. The likelihood of achievement is there. Oh, it's a good deal because I'm going to get it twice instead of just once if I buy it once. So all of these things makes for a compelling offer, but it's all based on how well somebody knows the buyer. And when we think in terms of that, I feel like that helps our branding get better. And I feel like I suck at it and I'm a permanent student of it. So I'm always like, what am I missing in my offer? What am I missing out of this audience? What do they need that I'm not seeing that I can tie video production to instead of saying, I got nice videos? It's like, okay, well, we don't give a shit. I need to sell more pizzas. How can I make these videos sell more pizzas? So now when I say, hey, do you struggle getting more catering for your pizzeria on the weekends? And so, hell yeah, I struggle getting more pizza. Well, guess what? I'm gonna make you a video that helps you sell more catering within 30 to 60 days. And all you got to do today is this and the other thing. Let's do it. Oh man, I can't wait to do that. So when I think of branding, you take a step back to the marketing side of it, like how you were saying. You need to peel those layers back in order to make it make sense.
True. And that's another part of the behind the scenes that people don't see. There's algorithms everywhere. There's everything's being tracked. We all know this. It's just how it is. Every time you hit accept cookies on a website, it's saying, hey, we're gonna make sure we track, your IP address, where you are, what you're looking at,
That's right.
and who you are based on the profile that you're signed in on your browser and all this stuff, so that when an advertiser says we need to spend some money to reach to these specific people, we know you're those specific people.
Right.
So everything's being tracked everywhere. Knowing your audience intrinsically and knowing what they want to hear, what they need to hear, and what their main problems are is paramount to figuring out what you're going to do with your campaigns
That's right.
later on.
That's right.
And when you're looking through different things, one thing I hear a lot from clients is, oh well, we serve everybody, we can work with anyone. I say that myself, but I really don't work with anyone. I work with business owners,
Yeah,
and they
that's
have
right.
specific problems. Or I work with marketing directors in businesses, and they have certain problems.
That's right.
Now, can I work with any industry? Sure,
Yeah.
because in industry specific things, you don't always need to go to somebody that's going to, oh, we work with only restaurants, and so we know what's best. Sometimes they can get themselves caught in a little box, and their advertising ideas stay within that box. And not every
And there's nothing
restaurant
wrong
is
with that.
in the box.
There's
Yeah,
nothing
no,
wrong
there's
with
nothing
that
wrong
either.
with that whatsoever. But
It's riches than the niches.
sometimes what's going to be best for a restaurant is an idea that's outside that box and promoting it a different way because of the demographic or because of the type of food that they have or because of the audience in their direct area. Yeah, some places will be like, you need to just get the locals to come here, be a regular. Well, if you're a 5-star restaurant, the locals are never going to be a regular there. Sorry, it's not going to happen because it's too expensive, and it's really more about just having a night out, a beautiful night out, whether it's for business, whether it's for an anniversary, a birthday. You can't advertise that the same way that you advertise a diner.
Not the same. No, not the same.
It's not the same. You gotta get the flow from outside. And
But
so
then,
that's also part of the process of what we go through.
yeah,
And finding the right audience is it's not always easy. And hell, even branding and getting your logos and all that other stuff together isn't easy. And it
right.
is time consuming. For instance, I have a client, uh, I'm not gonna say who it is because we still haven't announced the new brand, but he's been a client of ours for a while. And they are, I'm not saying merging, I don't want to say affiliating, they're working together with another person and another brand to create something brand new. This has been happening since this has been in the works since August, actually July 2023. It is
Okay.
August 2024 for us
Hmm.
right now. I mean, when this episode drops, it'll be September, but yeah, we recorded more episodes than just the one that gets published on the first day. Sue us. Uh, but we've been working on this for over a year, and we're still working on getting our things right. We're still doing all the internal things. We have our logo, we have some of our messaging, but we're still working on fine tuning it and getting the brand voice right and figuring out who our audience is really going to be and getting those people to give us feedback. Now, we did do a trade show with an epic booth. Well, we can get into some of that in another episode, how trade show booths can really make or break your trip. But that was kind of an announcement just for people that are directly in the industry that they're working with and
Hmm.
saying, hey, just so you know, this thing that we've been talking to you about is really happening,
Yeah.
but they haven't announced it to the world yet. And that that's the thing. There's brands out there that do branding work for years before they actually go forward and say,
Yeah.
hey, here's what we're doing. Hell, Airbnb, I think they had their first round of funding 3 years before they actually, went public to everybody and just had a small group of people that didn't know much. They only knew what they had to know, did a couple things. They worked on their branding, they worked on their messaging, they worked on their advertising. And then one day it just boom, out of nowhere, Airbnb is everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people don't understand the process that goes on for a long time. And it's constant too. What's happening behind the scenes for you to get to that point.
Yeah. Branding is definitely not something that you one and done. It's something that you invest in over the long term. I'm gonna say this, and then I have to get to the next meeting after we wrap it. Your branding is everything that has to do with the top of funnel. At least that's what I've learned, and that's where I'm at now today, and what I understand today. Maybe in a few months, few years, I'll understand something different. But today, what I understand is branding has a lot to do with top of funnel and reaching those people who just either aren't for sure that you exist, or people who know you exist but need to be reminded or invited to come to you again.
Yeah. So for my experience, branding is the entire funnel. It's not just top. Because if you have great branding only for top of funnel, you're not going to have the loyalty once you get to the bottom of the funnel.
Gotcha.
So branding has multiple layers. And if you brand correctly, you're going to get that initial curiosity at top of funnel. Then you're going to get the people that are going to be in the middle of the funnel that are on the fence of buying. And it's going to help break down those barriers. But then at the bottom of the funnel, it's about making sure the brand is loyal, or the people feel that the brand is loyal to them,
That's right.
and then they'll be loyal to the brand. So really, branding encompasses every section, and that branding behind the scenes is it's all some people talk about in a company, is
Yeah.
what the perception is of our brand, because that's what it is. Branding is the perception of people to your brand, and making sure that it's right behind the scenes is really important. And so just so you know, whenever you see a Pepsi commercial, or you see a commercial for a lawyer for a slip and fall, that wasn't just, let's throw this out there.
Right.
That was months of planning.
Yeah.
And they are currently planning 4 months down the road.
That's right.
So I wanted to get into this a little bit because when we started the podcast, we wanted it to be a behind the scenes look at advertising companies. And we didn't get into too much of that in the first two episodes, but I wanted to hit that here to give people, to let people know that that is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about behind the scenes. And sometimes behind the scenes isn't just talking about marketing and advertising. It's what can we learn from a con man in the 15th century selling snake oil to, I don't know, 15th century, 18th century. I'm
I don't know.
going way too far back. I'm going to the Vikings. What am I doing? Go back, and these snake oil salesmen, what did they do to change the perception of people to get them to trust them and become the viral marketers that they were? And how can we use that in today's marketing? Some of those are that's conversations that we have, in-house.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, you find the most crazy thing and you say, how can we use that? How,
Right.
how can we find some importance in this
Mm-hmm.
and build from it?
And
So
spin it.
we will get off on tangents, but I want people to know that those tangents don't go nowhere. Those
Right.
are those are tangents that go onto other tangents that then get you back onto the road of advertising and marketing.
That's it. That's it. Listen, man, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad that we were able to jump on this Zoom call again. What is this, number 3 or number 4?
This is number 3.
Number 3. The biggest thing for us is that we are doing it and continuing to do it. That is right now, that is the thing. It's easy to not do it. So I'm glad we made it.
Oh yeah, me too. And I'm also glad I only counted 5 you knows.
You don't know it. He's got a little scratch pad. He's like scratching it down.
Oh, I did. I checking it off. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, great. We're gonna get out of here. Probably was a short episode, but that's okay. They're not all
Mm-hmm.
gonna be an hour long, and we don't want them to be. So
right.
make sure you like and share, give us a comment on what you want us to talk about. Subscribe on Spotify, YouTube. I said we were going to be on Apple in the first couple episodes. I'm hoping by the time this episode drops, we're on Apple, but they're not cooperating right now. So find us on Spotify and YouTube, X at Adman Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Peace.